Welcome to another episode of the Stillman Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Battisto. The guest that we have on today is Lucas Byrd. He's a three-time All-American. He's a returning national champion for the University of Illinois, and he is wrestling in the All Star Classic that's going to be on TV this weekend. I don't know what station it's going to be on, but it's going to be on TV. Check it out. Really excited to share this episode with you guys. We talk a lot about just really, I think, building up yourself mentally and how Lucas Byrd was able to kind of bounce back after not getting what he wanted the previous year to then winning a national title. So really excited to share this episode with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the show.
Well, Lucas, man, we appreciate you guys coming on. And, we'd been talking all summer since camp and then finally was able to set it up. And, we got the All Star matchup coming up soon.
Yeah.
Who's number one just went off last night. So,
Yep.
we really, really, really appreciate you coming on. We had a great time just chatting at camp.
Yeah.
Even though, I'm a Michigan boy, you were amazing. And we really appreciated your personality. It was
Yeah.
great. It was
I
great.
appreciate that. Loved being there. Appreciate you guys having me on today and looking forward to it.
Yeah, it was fun, dude. I we were talking about the MLB simulation games and stuff like that, like the show. You wanted to have it come on PC.
Yeah.
When I was looking up some stuff to talk about on the podcast, I saw that you threw out the first pitch for the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
First of all, how's it feel to lose to the Dodgers? Second of all, are you going to play as the Reds when you do the simulation and try to like rebuild their team so they could possibly win a
If
championship?
if I can get MLB The Show on PC, it'll be simulated as the Reds and we will win a World Series and we will dominate for the rest of the years to come.
And Lucas, don't feel bad. Most of us are a bunch of San Diego boys that are on this, so
Ah,
we're all Padre fans. So Brian is the only Dodger fan in the group, and he's very consistent with his terminology of beating the
the
Padres.
the
So
Dodgers beat both my teams.
Who's your
Well,
other
like
team?
they obviously beat the Reds, but then the Phillies. I don't like actively cheer for the Phillies, but since
Yeah.
Ellie like lives there and stuff, I like was like, all right, well the Reds are out. Well, I at least can cheer for the Phillies to win.
Well, the
And
Phillies, they just committed like a big error, right? Isn't that what cost them the game?
yeah, they
Yeah.
like it was like right at the end and the pitcher like overthrew the catcher at home.
Yeah.
And like it was bases low, like terrible situation. But then that happened and I was like, oh, this is the worst situation possible.
now she was there with you when you threw out the first pitch, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How fun is
It-
that?
and Jeremy Hunter caught for you.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool, man.
he like didn't know. He was like we were talking about it and I was like, "Oh, like bring a glove." And he was like, "All right, like whatever." And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Who's catching it for you?" And I was like, "You are." And like at first he's like, "One of the players aren't catching it?" Like I was like, "No, no." Like I told them like I wanted you to catch it cuz Jeremy's like a huge baseball guy. And like if you're like before duels or whatever, if you throw a ball to Jeremy, it's like playing fetch with a dog. Like he doesn't stop. Like if you throw a ball, you are committed to like however long, and usually like at practice we'll like throw a football back and forth, and then to end it, you kind of just have to like turn around and walk away and hope he like doesn't throw it back at you while you're not looking at it. So I
So
was
he
like,
didn't know? Like you're just gonna
not until
like
I like told him I was like, hey, you're coming down to catch it. He was like, "Eh, all right, well let's get it. Like in my front yard, like my dad's got a picture. We're like practicing in the front yard.
You
that's
can't
so
leave. You
awesome.
can't leave it short when you're throwing out the first pitch of MLB.
No, you cannot.
How much so you guys you practice, you said you practiced probably once you got back to Cincinnati. Is that still where your family lives?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys were practicing in the front yard. Were you practicing before that, or was it more just like, nah, like we're athletes?
I threw like 50 pitches at Illinois' indoor baseball facility. Like off like a mound and stuff. So like we kind of have like an idea of what it was gonna be like.
It's
But it was a good
phenomenal.
time, yeah.
Well, I mean, you're no stranger to the big stage, but
Yeah,
is that different than being on that mat for the national finals?
for sure different. It's like it seems so easy. And I like played baseball growing up. So I was like, oh, like, it's gonna be easy. Like, but when you get out there and you're like, damn, this is really far. And then you're up on like the mountain and you're like, damn, this is really high too. Like all right, like now we're playing with all these different factors and the so I don't know if you guys know, but like a lot of baseball games, sometimes there's like multiple like first pitches. And then they
Yeah.
have like a real first pitch and there was a Bengals player. He just they like just signed him during the draft. He was like one of their higher picks and he like you could tell he was like acting all cool and stuff. And then I go out there, I throw it, and I come back and all of a sudden he's like, "So was it hard?" Like but like, where should I throw it from and stuff? I was like, well, if you throw it from the mound, it's gonna be hard. You throw it from the grass, like it's not as bad. And like all of a sudden, I'm talking with Ellie and stuff, and Jeremy comes up, he goes, you see, he's warming up now, cause like when I went to do it, there was a rain delay, so we were like in this long tunnel, and me and Jeremy were bored, so we were throwing the ball back and forth, and he was just kind of standing there, like his buddy had like his draft day shirt on and everything, and all of a sudden when it was like time to happen, he starts practicing and stuff, and then he threw it a little short, did a little bounce hop into the catcher's hand. I was
You
like,
didn't prepare. You didn't
oh,
prepare,
that's
man.
unfortunate. No, I was prepared. Jeremy was not gonna let me embarrass us on TV.
That's phenomenal.
I think
Phenomenal.
it's cool that you guys got to share that moment together. It's like
Yeah,
I know the relationship between catcher and pitcher is a big deal, but obviously wrestler and coach is it's got to take a lot
yeah.
of trust.
Yeah, no, it was a good time, especially like Jeremy's like loves baseball. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to kind of allow him to, because it's like everybody sees they're like, oh, the coach, he helps put in all this like time and effort, but they don't like they see you win. Like they're there for the moment, but like people aren't asking Jeremy, hey, you want to come throw out the first pitch? Like you just had a national champ, which is like super hard to do. So being able to have him there and it's like, hey, come do this with me. We only wrestled for 7 months to get ready for a national title. Come be a part of, this adventure with me as well.
What a cool way to give back too. Like you mentioned,
Yeah.
he's been there from from 7 months to get you to win the national
Yeah, like
title,
yeah.
and then they call you and you're like, you're coming with me, buddy.
Yeah, it's kind of like what it was. It was like we'll have somebody and I was like, "Oh, like could Jeremy do it?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "All right, sounds good. That's who's doing it."
That's so awesome.
I think I saw an interview that you guys are almost like telepathic. I think you said that. Like you guys
Yeah.
like kind of think on the same
We
wavelength.
yeah, especially like once a year kind of starts rolling and like it's very like it's like the system we run, it's like kind of like we just kind of understand each other. And it's even kind of like it's obviously like grown from me being a freshman to me being a seventh year.
Well, that's fun. It's like being able to develop that,
Yeah.
at least as a coach, like being able to develop that kind of relationship with an athlete. Like it's super cool where yeah, it's kind of like Star Trek, man, where you guys kind of mind meld and it's like you guys are clicking on the same wavelength. Like
Just
that's honestly, yeah,
makes
that's
it
where
so much
magic happens.
easier. Like it makes it easier like when you're wrestling in matches and you're like sometimes I've seen in matches where like just as like a spectator like guys will look over to their coaches and their coaches are like what do you want to do? And it's like with me and Jeremy, it's just like, hey, like whatever you want to do, like do it. Just kind of like, all right, sounds good. And then it's like working out, it's like there's some things like everything I do, I try to always make sure is gonna be like beneficial to making me a better wrestler. Like I try to like not have to do some of the like things that it's like, all right, is this just like work or is this like, hey, this is gonna make you a better wrestler? So I try to really and like me and Jeremy kind of understand that like I'm a seventh year and I've put in all the extra workouts that are like, hey, this is just gonna suck today. Where it's like, all right, I'd rather, keep developing my skills as a wrestler and continue to get better.
I think we all have that feeling where you can look at a buddy or you can look at somebody who you're in tune with and you basically have a 2 minute conversation without saying a single word eye to
Yeah.
eye. And you're like, okay, yeah, you want me to do it? Yeah, I got you. And it's dead silent and no one talks anything, but you know exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah, you understand what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there was a little bit of like speculation. Like obviously I think we all knew you were going to come back, but it wasn't like guaranteed, right? Like you had to get into some kind of extended credential or graduate program, like your medical waiver and stuff, all that had to get approved. Because
Yeah.
Illinois posted something and everybody was like, wait, I thought this was like for sure,
Yeah,
but
well, I think it also like came to the point of like I didn't know if I was coming back or not. Like just like personally, like it was kind of like I hate long distance, and it's like it plays a big factor. Like some people, it's like, oh yeah, long distance is hard, but it ends. But it's like when you're like nitty gritty, you're down to wait, and like I live alone. I have two cats and a snake, but like I'm laying in bed just like by myself all day, and I'm just like, wow, this sucks. Like not only do I feel bad, but I don't have my significant other with me to like be with. Like today's our 4-year anniversary,
I was just
and
about to ask that. Yeah.
Congratulations.
and yeah, thank you. And she's like, she's on a beach trip with like her family, and it was one I got invited on, but obviously with the All Star match and stuff coming up, I wasn't able to go. So it's like having to spend your anniversary kind of alone. Like it's like, dang, this sucks. But it's like at the end of the day, there's a in 6, 7 months when the year's over, we'll be living together and you know living life out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your post this morning was interesting because you broke it down to days
I
as a
always do.
which is super cool. Yeah, okay, 4 years, but then you broke it down to days, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Love you, jelly bean," or my apologies if I'm misspeaking,
No,
but
you're good. Yeah, no. It's
just
like
it
my thing. I call her my jelly bean, my queen bee jelly bean.
you could totally see just sitting, getting down to weight, cutting. You need a little bit of bounce back. I don't think your cats are going to have a conversation with you, and
No.
next thing you know, you're thinking you're a snake and you want to shed your skin to lose that last couple pounds. Or but
Yeah.
what a tough situation to be in.
Yeah, and it's like obviously Ellie supports me through everything. Like if I really need her, I can give her a call and stuff. But there's some days where it's like, you know, I chose to come back. I chose like you choose to wrestle. So it's kind of sometimes you got to go through those like silent moments alone where you're just like, yeah, this is terrible. This is awful.
I think that's important what you just said. It's like people, I think sometimes forget that we choose to do this stuff,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like people that are like, oh, like I hate cutting weight, and it's like, well, you chose to wrestle, like
Yeah.
you chose this path, and it's like you get kids in the college level, and they're like, oh, I hate cutting all this weight, and it's like, well,
Then
you you knew what you signed up for.
go up to
It's not,
41s. Then
that's the thing, like it's
yeah.
it's it's not like it was Mission Impossible. You knew when you got to college you were gonna have to cut weight.
Yeah, especially like when you're a freshman, you gotta wake up and do those like super early workouts. So like what you said, it's like, bro, I'm a seventh year. I've done all like I know I'm tough. Like I know I've done all
Yeah,
those things, and not to mention, you still do stuff that's hard and mentally and physically demanding. But it's like, all right, do I really gotta, go through all the rigor and do all this extra stuff?
yeah,
Like I need to get better at wrestling. Like let's focus on that.
that's it. Yeah.
That's the question that was really on my mind, when we talked to camp, and then we knew that we were going to come on the podcast later. But
Hmm.
how do you manage everything? How do you manage from not only being a student, not only being an athlete, a national champ, TikTok famous, boyfriend? That's a huge amount of stuff that's on your plate. And for you, being able to meet you personally and hang out with you for those 2 days, you seemed very calm, you seemed very collective and very organized. How do you manage that over a 7 to 8 month time frame?
I honestly think it's like Ellie is very like helpful with everything. Like there's not many times where I feel like a lot of people like in their relationships are like, oh, I'm so stressed in my relationship. Like Ellie makes literally life easy. Like there isn't like I'm not very stressed. I'm not like, oh, she does, yeah, what's going on? Like me, like she's very like we're very on the same wavelength with each other. We understand each other very well. But then it's when it comes to like the wrestling and everything, like I'm in general a very laid back person. So I try to just let things come to me, and I've like dealt with anxiety and depression. So I've battled very much through kind of being very sad and like being very anxious and having to like learn to balance those different battles. But I've like learned over the years, it's like, all right, let things come to me. Like figure out step by step instead of like, all right, I have practice, I have lift, like I have all these things. Like I think it was my junior year, like I like freshman, sophomore would always stress about missing lift. Like I was scared of our lifting coach because he was a scary person.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned it was like, hey, all right, like if you miss lift, like you just have to call and be like, hey, I overslept. Like I did. There's times where it's like kids are like, oh, they wake up and they're like, Coach, I don't feel well. And it's like, all right, do you not feel well? Did you oversleep? Like I just learned kind of being open and honest about like the situation was like the easiest way to go about things. So that's kind of how I try to like carry. Like it's when like I guess the perfect example would be the when I came down to do the camp and
Yeah.
my flight was at like midnight that like next day, and it was like, all right, you're gonna do the camp all day and then we gotta get you out of here and get you going. It's like, all right, like sounds good. Like, if you miss the flight, you get another one and you move forward. And it's kind of like you just take everything like step by step instead of trying to like tackle everything at once. I try to just take it step by step.
Well, I know that's not like a switch. Like how do you kind of mentally build that kind of new approach to life kind of into your daily habits? Like, because I know it's got to be like a choice, but you also have to
Yeah,
actually do it.
I think it was like kind of being that like sorry, being that like freshman sophomore where it was like instead of like saying a white lie, because I used to be really bad about it. I used to just say white lies because I was like, oh, they don't affect them. It's not a real lie. It's just not the truth. And and I was like, I just need to just be truthful. Just like, hey, like I overslept. I missed lift. Like I overslept. Sorry. Like we're gonna have to move on one way or another. And it's not that I was like missing lift very often or anything like that, but it was like just learning to be like, hey, if I'm truthful, you're probably still gonna be mad at me. But if I lie, you're gonna be way more pissed at me. But if I'm just like up and honest and I'm like, hey, I overslept. Like, sorry. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure
Ownership.
you're gonna be upset, but if I told you, oh, I didn't feel well, I need to go to the doctor, and then I don't go to the doctor and it's like, all right, well, why didn't you go to the doctor? And you're like, oh, well, I forgot. And then like you fumble into like all these different things, and then it's like you're down this rabbit hole and you just keep lying. Where it's like, hey, I overslept. Yeah, I'll come in and do a punishment workout. Like I'm sure
That's
you're gonna
that's the
go ahead.
maturity factor,
Yeah.
being mature and owning up to something along those lines. Uh, you use the rabbit hole analogy, one lie leads to another, and next
It
thing you know,
does.
you're toast. And then they catch you in it, and then they start saying, hey, so what about the doctor? Do you have that doctor's note? And then you feel instead of saying, I didn't go to the doctor, man, I just overslept.
Hey,
uh
I messed up.
yeah.
Like, sorry, I'm a human being. Like, it kind of like fumbles into that where it's like, hey, I messed up. And it's like the same with like, I feel like being a kid or like being in like a relationship. Like if you mess up, you're just like, hey, I messed up. Not dependent on like your mess up is like,
Yeah.
there's levels to your mess up, but you forgot to take the trash out. You're like, hey, I forgot. Sorry. Like simple stuff where it's like instead of being like, oh, I got busy and like, then it's like all these white lies start happening. I just kind of learned as like growing like kind of freshman, sophomore, junior, it was like, hey, just tell them what happened. Like worst comes to worst, they yell at you and you're like, all right. Like he yelled at me. I didn't lie to you though. Like I didn't try to stretch the truth any more than what it was. I overslept.
Well, it's gonna also help like Poeta and Hunter, like the coach's job is to help you, like help you solve the
Yeah.
problem. So if you're sick, it's like, all right, let's get you to the doctor.
And
But
yeah, and
if
that
you
like
lied, then it's like, dude, now we have to have this like heart to heart, and then I have to yell at you, and then it probably, yeah,
and
punishment.
I
It's like a whole different thing.
and I think it helps build that like connection with coach and athlete. Like if the athlete's just like, "Hey, I messed up," and the coach doesn't like rip you apart, and then you're like, "All right, well, I don't want to tell you the truth anymore." Like, why would I do that? Like, I'd be like with Jeremy and Poeta, like it's been like, kind of like, "Hey, I messed up. Hey, all right, don't do it again." Like you're a seventh year. Why are you missing? You know what I mean? And it's like, all
Yeah.
right, yeah, you're right. Like I am. I'm old enough to understand that like my consequences are gonna have these actions, but also, if I like tell you I messed up and then you scream at me and you're like, all right, be here at 6 a.m. for a punishment workout, it's like, all right, why would I don't want to tell you the truth again.
No, for
Like,
sure.
I don't want to be honest because it got me in so much more trouble. And then that's where those white lies and all that rabbit hole falls into.
How much time do you feel like you have to have like these moments of like self-reflection? Because I think it takes a lot to be able to like kind of learn that about yourself and be able to like deal with it and overcome it. Like I feel like you got to have a lot of that time. Like how I guess is that normally how you spend your time when you're maybe away from Ellie and you're at home and you're just thinking about yourself and about life
I,
and stuff?
I think a big thing for me was like COVID because there was so much time like you're alone. But again, like there's times where like I don't do anything all day. Like I literally I'm in one class. Like I just finished a class, I'm starting a new one, so it's like I really don't do anything and I hang out by myself all day. I like isolation. I like being alone. It's like it's fun to me. Um So it's kind of, you're just like, yeah, I should just tell people the truth. But it's also where like me and like it's kind of, I've seen it where like me and Ellie have like, I've like said a white lie. And this was kind of like early in our relationship, and it was like, she's like, "Why are you doing this? Like, why are you telling me a lie?" And in my head I'm like, "Well, I grew up doing it. Like it just comes natural to me." And she's like, "Well, you need to stop, or like we're not gonna work." And it's like, all right, that's it, done. Like
Stopping.
we're just
It's over.
telling the truth. So it was like, and again, like I don't really do anything. Like I don't like put myself in positions where like Ellie would ever have to question where I like, oh, you went to the bar. Like, why'd you go to the bars alone on a Friday night? Like, what were you doing? And it's like, oh, I just wanted to go. It's like, no, that's not true. Like, where it's like, I just don't do stuff like that. I like to stay at home. I like to play video games, watch anime, and hang out with my cats. It's literally what I do. It's not hard.
That was we were trying to communicate on which day to get this done, and you'd already always said, hey, depending on when my workout is, whatever. But to have that length of day where there's no schedule,
Yeah.
you got to make that time up. How does that work with it? You mentioned 7 years for a long time, but whether it's in the off season, freshman, sophomore year, and you're on campus with everybody, moving into year 5, year 6, and now year 7, you're a veteran on that aspect of it. How do you go about handling that isolation? You did say that you love to be alone and whatever, but how do you handle that and get back into the practice world and that realm in your mind?
I think you have to understand that you have to be able to kind of separate the two. Like my personal life and my wrestling life are completely different. And like I've kind of started to merge them together because I truly don't care what people think about me. Like I'm an anime, like I love anime. I'm covered in anime tattoos. Like I'm not very much of like, oh, what do people think of me anymore? Like it's kind of, you have to be able to balance like, all right, I like to be isolated. Like I like to hang out alone. I like to kind of do my own thing. Like I like to not have to worry about other people's like problems essentially. And then it's like, all right, once I get to the practice room, it's like, all right, you have to flip a switch of like, when I'm not in the practice room, I'm Lucas. Very normal. When I'm in the practice room, it's like, all right, well, you're national champ. Like there's like levels to like, I'm gonna go with somebody and it's like, okay, I can't just let you score points. Like I can't let you think like, there's levels to like, all right, I'm gonna show you there's levels to this game. And you kind of like see it, like you have guys, they're like, they won't like talk back, but like they'll say something and it's like, all right, well I'm gonna beat your ass now because there's like pecking orders to like kind of being in a wrestling room. And like when you're a freshman or a sophomore and you like want to jab at the fifth or sixth or seventh years, it's like, all right, well you're probably gonna get beat up because you decided to like jump into the shark pit. And it's like, all right, like you're gonna figure it out that this isn't the great like, yeah, I'm great that you like want to pick fun, but like there's a time and a place for things and like there's roles to everything.
Yeah, I think when you're in that wrestle room, it's like you have to find that balance. I think if you're a young guy, where it's like you have to be confident, but don't be overconfident, and definitely don't talk
Yeah.
smack to the older guys on the
Yeah,
team.
you have to kind of like, you're like, all right, I know my role. I'm here to, like as a freshman, it's like you should be there to improve. Unless you're
Yeah.
like a standout guy. Like unless you're one of the like Boris, Blake, like one Bass, like one of those guys that like kind of is probably gonna hit the college scene and like has that big following and everything. It's like your goal is to get better. Like get better at wrestling because the transition from high school to college is completely different. And you see it, like you see there's really good high school kids that get into college and get rode out. And like they never kind of pan out because they didn't take that year to like, all right, I just want to get better at wrestling moves because there's a true difference of like being elite in high school and being the best and then being able to transition that to college.
So when you got to college, your freshman, your sophomore year, who
I
did
was
you
an
target?
asshole. I
Who
was an
rode you out?
asshole.
Who rode you out? What
Who did
happened?
you target that you wanted to go get that takedown on, and then they're just gonna thump you?
It was Zane Richards, and then Travis Pietrowski and Dylan Duncan. Those were like kind of, it was like the 233s. Obviously Zane not at the time, but then like Duncan was our 41. Um, I was the asshole that like poked at everybody. Like what I'm
Nice.
saying, like right now that you shouldn't do, I was the opposite. Like I was very like you can ask Ellie, like when me and Ellie first met, I was very she would say cocky. Like I was very much about myself. Like, hey, I did all this stuff. I'm really good. I'm going to be really good. Like this is, I'm gonna be a national champ. And Ellie at one point was like, yeah, he's just really, really cocky. Like he's not. And then it was like it was after I like placed. Like it was kind of like, oh, he backs up his words. But yeah, in the practice room it was kind of those three, and it was like, all right, these are like kind of the guys that I want to. If I could put it on these guys, like I'll be able to excel at like that, that national champ level. And it was like the year I All American, Duncan All American. Like we both got fifth. We kind of had like the same like tournament. We both lost in the same round. I think our first like wrestleback match, we both wrestled Oregon State. Like it was very like similar kind of stuff. And then Travis, his COVID year, was the year that like the tournament got canceled.
Hmm.
And he like stuck around to kind of help me. And then Zane's obviously still around, rolling around with everybody.
That's pretty cool, man. I feel like so you talk about like these we've talked about moments of reflection and stuff. Do you feel like that transition where you maybe stop being cocky? COVID had a lot to do with that, I'm sure, to some extent.
Yeah.
But I know one year you had to sit out, you got injured, you ended up not getting on the podium.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's got to help a lot too. And what's kind of crazy, it's like when you came out of that, dude, you won a national title.
Yeah.
Yeah. It like kind of like back on that like self-reflection. It's kind of funny. The only two times I've cried in college after like a wrestling match was when I lost to Mendez in the blood round. Like that was like I was sitting in the tunnel and I was by myself and I was fine. And then like Poetic came over and like patted me on the head, one of these, and I was just like, fuck. Uh, and then after I won, I like after like I took all like the pic like the media and everything, and like came out and it like hit me. I was like, holy shit. And but those are like the two times that like real self-reflection of like, hey, like I did go through like a very like serious injury that like there were a lot of speculation of like, was I going to be able to wrestle the same? Like, how was I going to have to change my style up? Like, what was going to, be different? And obviously, like the coaching staff, my trainer Jeff, like Ellie, like my parents, like everybody kind of pushed me. It's like, hey, just keep the course, keep going forward. You're gonna be fine. Like, just kind of like keep that steady like pace of, yeah, this is gonna be hard to like get back to full strength, but if you just keep kind of taking the course, taking the right path, you'll get there.
So really just having that support network there between your coaches and Ellie and your family and
Yeah.
everybody there, man. It's like, yeah, that helps so much. I think it's underrated, man. I think obviously people at the highest level I think understand it and appreciate it for the most part.
Yeah.
But man, I hope our high school kids see this and they hear it and it's like, guys, be grateful, like be thankful for what you have and
Yeah,
say
I
it to
mean
people.
it's something that like I probably like don't say it enough of like the like how much everybody's kind of helped me kind of through like my journey, because it wasn't like, oh, just like I dealt with a lot of like anxiety and depression throughout like high school and college. Like there were lots of ups and downs where like my parents helped me a bunch. My friends' parents helped me a bunch. Ellie, like kind of when we started our like dating and everything and getting to know each other and like navigating kind of, being in a relationship with like a height difference, and then kind of dealing with like anxiety, depression. She was playing, going through her like injury, and then I get injured. Like there were so many ups and downs that like we like leaned on each other a lot to kind of figure it all out. And then the support of just everybody else behind us, it's like it's been awesome.
And those life lessons resonate onto the mat.
Yeah.
If I go back to like your first round matchup, you're wrestling the Cali kid,
Yep.
Hunter Leak, and it was a close match. I think it was what 4-3, 3-2.
3-2.
So something along those lines where you have that patience in a tight match, and then to be able to not panic, go back and look at your history of, hey man, I've gone through some adversity in life. I might be down a point or I might be up by a point. Continue to use that stuff and that mentality on the mat to go out and win a match. That's a
Yeah.
huge thing that high school kids and college kids, some have it, some don't.
Yeah. I also think what helped me in the Hunter Leakey match is I didn't realize I was losing or like would have lost. I did like Ellie like came up to me after. She was like, "You realize you would have lost, right? If he like got out and stuff." And I was like, "No, no, I was fine. Like I wasn't gonna lose." And Jeremy was like, "No, you would have." And I was like, "Oh, all right. Well, glad I wasn't thinking about what was happening. Glad I was just hoping for the best."
Well, you're just in the moment, you're just in
Yeah,
the moment and
literally
you
just
have
kind
that
of
self-trust.
yeah, just kind of hoping that, everything was gonna fall in place and, it did.
Speaking about like those moments where, yeah, you're hoping things kind of work out, or maybe things are kind of outside your realm of control a little bit. We were talking about the national finals at the camp, and
Yep.
I know, you were talking about how that takedown that you wanted the challenge to happen.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, that was a takedown. I think you asked us like, man, like, did you guys think it was a takedown? And I
You
think at the
did. That
moment,
was
I think
great.
we both were like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But Brian went back and watched it, and he was like, I don't think that was a takedown, man. I'm pretty sure Brian said that.
I
No, yeah.
did.
Well,
I
it's
did.
like, but that's Jeremy. Like Jeremy to this day doesn't think it was a takedown. And like it's like I think that's where like having a high level coach is like sometimes you have that coach and they're like so into it, they're like, that was a takedown. Like they're telling you like in the corner, they're like, oh, like the match is over, like this is a takedown, like, and you're kind of like all that adrenaline, you're like, all right, it was like I'm trusting my coach, like I'm gonna relax and let everything kind of drain out of my body. And then you get hit with like, oh hey, no takedown, and then you have to ramp like all your adrenaline. Like as soon as I like went like this and they threw it, like Jeremy came back and was like, I don't know. I don't think it was. Just get ready to wrestle. And it was
Yeah.
like, all right. Like there was no second of like relaxation where it was like, oh, I got this. Like I have it. Personally, I thought I had it, obviously, but then it's like when your coaches also are like feeding into your like reality of like, hey, you had it, like the match is gonna end, and you're like, finally, like my body can relax. And then all of a sudden you're in an overtime period and you're like, all right, my legs are now tired because all of my adrenaline and everything is just kind of slowly drained out of my body because I thought it was over. And now I have to ramp back up and go wrestle another what it ended up being like 4 or 5 minutes.
But then you had your coach Jeremy saying, "Hey, I don't think so." So did you?
Yeah.
You weren't able to ramp down. You were able to stay in that moment.
Yep. I was just in the high of like, he's like, hey, it's not, I don't think. And I was like, all right, whatever. Sounds good. Like, but that's where like that trust of like athlete coach comes from. Like he was like, it's not a takedown. And instead of me being like, are you sure? Like, I was just like, all right, whatever. Sounds
Well,
good.
it was the right thing to say to you as well, right?
Exactly.
Because it's
Yeah.
like if you get it, then it's like sick, like we got it.
Yeah.
And then if you don't get it, it's like, all right, we'll just go get another one.
Yeah. You're like, all right, sounds good. Let's move on now.
Yeah,
you
and then
know,
later in the match, Ayala's corner threw another one. They thought it was
yeah.
a
Yeah.
takedown. Ended up being like, was it kind of the same thing mentally? It's like, all right, like I don't know
Well,
if it
they,
is or isn't.
they challenged stalling.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I didn't know you could do that. So I was like, whatever, like sure, challenge this dog all like at that point, I think like personally, I had like been in on his legs so much. Like I had really kind of like ramped my pace up to push the action. I was like, all right, like whatever. Like I'm gonna get one. One of these is gonna fall. Like
Yeah.
you can't keep getting to the legs and keep failing. One of them has to work.
And referees will reward stalling like for the guy that's picking up their pace and being more offensive.
Yeah.
Not
And I
necessarily that the Ayala is not doing anything, but your rate of attack has gone up so much. It's like,
yeah.
okay, we have to kind of reward
You're like, all right,
that
this guy's
action.
really trying to score a takedown.
Yeah, and that's a difference between penalizing somebody for stalling and rewarding the other guy for pushing the pace.
And I think that's like the fine line of people like don't understand. They're like, "Oh, why do you hit him for stalling?" And it's like, "Well, this guy's taken 20 attempts." Like
Yeah.
the defense,
Unanswered.
like the defending guy is like defending, like credit. Like, yeah, if somebody's shooting all the time, it's really hard to shoot. Like it's hard to like both guys are like not you're not gonna shoot at the same time as somebody. So it's like, yeah, that guy's defending, but it's also like, okay, they're not this guy's not doing anything. Like, no, they're going, all right, this offensive guy is really trying to get a takedown, and like this guy's only defending. Like, it's not, it's a one-sided like affair right now.
No,
Now,
for
do you go
sure.
back and watch that match multiple times and critique it on the coaching aspect of it as opposed to the wrestler who was in the moment?
Kinda, yeah. Like it's like kind of when I first started, like after I'd like won, I was watching it a handful just to kind of like see like what I could have done better, where I could have kind of figured stuff out a little bit. Um, and it was like from that like coaching, not like the athlete standpoint, kind of being that like yourself coach of like, hey, like, could have probably done this better, could have, taken those attempts earlier. Like, there's a handful of things that like I would have changed actually.
And that's what surprised me at camp. Over the years, seeing a lot of national champs come and kind of work camp, and you have some conversations with them. But the look on your face when you're just like, so did you guys think it was the takedown?
I'm
Was
curious.
just
Yeah,
it was pure the coaching side as
yeah.
opposed to the wrestler in the moment. Hey, what do you guys think?
I didn't
I
want you to
trust your
feed it.
guys'
Yeah, I was
opinion.
like, all right, what'd you guys like? I like that that refs the finals is a Big Ten ref. I guarantee you, I asked him something like I like it's kind of from that like coaching standpoint, like not like wrestler trying to like bully a ref. It's like, hey, like
Objectively.
what could I have done better? Like obviously you call like I got the stall call and everything, but it's like, all right, like what could I have done better earlier to like what do you need to see more of to kind of get a stall call or like kind of get you thinking early because it's like too many times you'll see guys like I always like talk to refs like not in like a hey you didn't give me this call like why it's more of like hey what can I like do better to get get a call like what more do you need to see from me as a wrestler to like get you on my side essentially.
Yeah, and referees appreciate that. Like I feel like they're always kind of seen as like the enemy, but I feel
They
like when you kind of have that personal, they see you both like mutually as people where they don't feel
yeah,
attacked, and yeah, that helps them get better
and
too.
it's like they want to see action.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they like nobody wants to see a national finals match go without a takedown, unfortunately. Like that's just the reality of it. Like from a fan's perspective, from like like nobody wants to see it kind of end like that. Is it exciting? Yeah, but it's also like when you ask a ref, you're like, all right, what can I do better to like, get it to where because if you get a stall call, if you get two stall calls and you're up 2-1, it's like, all right, the other guy's got to start shooting like reattacks start
Yeah.
opening up like so much more of like my game especially kind of opens up on that end of like all right this guy's really shooting he's getting under me I have a really good front headlock like there's so many things that I can start like reattacks front headlock like there's so many different outlets you can use to score more points and start putting them on the board.
No, absolutely. But we're kind of getting towards the end here. I do have a couple questions though. I think what's really cool and you have this coming up is you're kind of going to be a part of two big college events. Like not only do you have the All Star Classic, but you guys are going to be in the national duels. Like
Yeah,
talk about your preparation for that, and I guess like, man, like, are you like understanding? Like, dude, this is pretty cool.
I think I've always approached kind of the All-Star Classic the same way because I've been in it for 3 years.
3, yeah.
Yeah, 3 years. So I've kind of like approached it all the same way. Like it's like in reality, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the year when like seedings come for Big Tens and Nationals, that doesn't come into account. Like it doesn't matter. And for me, like a ranking doesn't matter. Like I really don't care. You can put me at whatever rank you want. But it's like,
But
all right,
that's the maturity factor that you've grown up with, because
yeah,
before
like
you wanted
you're
the ranking.
you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to be number one. It's like, all right, well, it doesn't matter if you're number one or number 33. Like it is if you're there, you're there. Like it doesn't matter. So it's kind of going out there and really trying to score points and looking to like develop, like continue to like I'm always big on like in match, like you can never create the nerves you get in the practice room before an actual wrestling match. Like no matter what, you could be wrestling the worst kid in the country. And before you go out there, you still get those nerves. And you can't replicate that. Like in practice, like you can do as many practice matches as you want, but you're never gonna like I wrestle in practice in a singlet when we do matches. And I've like you can't replicate the feeling that you get in the tunnel before you gotta walk out there.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, this is another free like live rep. Like this is a rep of like getting, all right, I know how I'm gonna feel. Like my nerves are gonna be there. And granted, being in college for 7 years helps. But being like through as many of those experiences as possible, like I took that jujitsu match one because I wanted to, but I also get those same nerves. Like I had that same feeling through that as I do with a wrestling match. And then the national duels is gonna be something that's just cool. Like I think it's cool to like I think Illinois, we're finally getting that like recognition that we deserve as a team because we are really good. I think we're better this year than we were last year. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting in there and kind of seeing how it all goes out and just kind of, wrestling.
Yeah. I think what's kind of crazy is I know a couple Illinois alum, Adam Tierpelli and
Yep.
Gabe Flores, who I know you did a camp with. But I remember both of those guys were at the national tournament. I think I messaged Gabe and I'm like, dude, like Illinois is underperforming and you guys are still a top 10 team.
Yeah,
Like
and
that's pretty cool.
that's the crazy like when you look at the national tournament we had like I hate saying this but like we did underperform. Like
Yeah.
unfortunately. Like it's
We
kind of one of
did.
those things
Yeah.
where it's like it's the reality of everything. But it's like if you get, you know, Skulls, Love, Cannon, Pooch, like if you get Pooch, Edmond, like if you get three of those guys to break through.
Yeah. That's potentially a top 5 team. That's
Top five
probably a
team.
top 5 team because
Like
if you look at the
yeah,
heads to heads and
I think it was I think the difference between 10 and 5 was like 10 points.
not a lot.
And if you get guys into like the or into like the placement rounds, like those points are made up. Like you got like it was 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Cornell got second with a first, a third, and a fourth. So
Yeah.
it's like
Crazy. 40. Yeah. Four
you know what I
guys.
mean? Like if you crack, you have a first, a fifth, seventh, and eighth. Like it's a top 5 team. It might be a top 3 team, depending on like how every other team is scored.
Yeah, I mean, your places are going to bring in a bulk of your points, but a lot of times it's like the guys that are maybe ranked, 20 something or seeded 20 something, and they get like another win, or they get
Yeah,
like, all right, I went 1 and 2, but I got like a pin or something. Like all that adds up at the end when you have a whole team,
yeah.
especially if 8 or 9 qualifiers, and again, maybe 3 on the podium, but 6 other guys are
Scoring
contributing.
points. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a big deal.
yeah.
Kind
And
of,
it's
kind of like
like,
2 years ago with Iowa State to being up in that top five. They had a dominant team in the fact that it was plenty of depth. You had guys that
yeah,
a freshman making the round of place. You have a sophomore being able to get in to be an All-American, being in an eighth place, not necessarily super high up on the podium, but the chunk of the points coming from the entirety of the team itself.
and I think that's where wrestling is like that differ of like, that's where wrestling like differs. It's like, yeah, it's individual, but like, all right, now I need you to, crack into the spot. Like you're not supposed to beat somebody. I need you to go out there and beat them. Like this
Which,
is gonna help the team later down the line.
which is so cool to have the national duels because now it's just not an individual, it's a team thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm most excited about. I've never actually been in the national tournament, never qualified, and I was gonna go actually the year that they canceled it. I got a ticket,
hmm
but I thought, man, dude, this would actually be a really cool event to go and watch national
Yeah.
duels.
It's like I was talking to my dad about it. It's just unfortunate that it's in Oklahoma or like like Oklahoma or where's it at?
Yeah,
Oklahoma State.
It's in
And
Tulsa.
or
Yeah, they're
Tulsa.
they're hosting basically.
It's just so hard to get there. Like I was talking to my dad because my dad really wants to go, but it's like you gotta fly into Oklahoma City, then you gotta
And
drive two
drive.
hours. Like I think they could have picked a better place for like a fan's perspective. Like I think they could have done
Right.
better with like, hey, we're gonna put it in St. Louis.
Yeah,
Like a big place where like everybody can get to. Like it's easy to get to St. Louis. Where it's like
Now,
I
do you
think
like
they
the scheduling of it? Do you like it early in the year, or is that something that you would love to see towards the middle of the year?
I think you run into like two things. Like one with having it like early in the year, you run into like guys not like kind of into like the like thick of it. Like you're like guys are still kind of getting used to making weight. Like you're kind of like playing that battle of like, all right, I've been down once or like it'll be the third time I make like scratch weight. Because the All-Star duel, then we wrestled uh Ryder at home and then we roll into that. So it's like you kind of roll into like, all right, guys are slowly starting to make weight. Like, where does everybody pan out? And then if you have it in the middle of the year, it's like there's more implications now. It's like, all right,
yeah,
there's not many times to like make up, this like a loss, essentially. Like if you win early, it's like, all right, like I just gotta get through the rest of the year, win where I'm supposed to win. And then it's like when it's in the middle of the year, you're like, all right, like this is kind of a big check mark of like I gotta win, and then I gotta, that'll like a rank, like it'll seeding criteria essentially is all it is.
Well, I would be less tempted to do it as like if it's in the middle of the year or towards the end of the year because it's still not like obviously it's a big deal, but it's not like a championship. You know what I mean? It's not the
Yeah,
national tournament. You still want to have your guys like I mean, you guys have Big Ten schedule like pretty much right after winter break or kind of started sort of during winter break,
before,
but
yeah.
yeah,
it's like we want to make sure everybody's healthy for that. Then you want to make sure you're healthy for Big Ten. It's like why would
yeah.
you add another weigh in and add like possibly another handful of
It's
matches where somebody can get
yeah.
hurt?
So it's kind of one of those things where it's like I think it's cool and it's awesome to be a part of because it's getting like Illinois out there. And
Yeah,
then like I said, I think we're a better team, so I think we can kind of get into those like, those matches where we're very competitive and make our way through that bracket, but it's also we just got to see what happens. Like,
for
it's who
sure.
who wakes up on the right side of the bed, who wrestles, like that's like the one thing where like kind of with the all-star duel that I think is crazy that there's only two number ones wrestling in it.
Now, is
Yeah.
that by choice, you think? Or I'm sure that they're going to put it out there and people decline and accept, correct?
Oh, for sure. There's like I had a matchup and then they reached out and said that they like no longer were gonna do it. So then they like kept trying to find me like a new opponent. So it's like they asked like the number one and the number two. It's like yes, no, and then they just kind of like run down the list. But I think it's just crazy that like more guys don't want to put their number on the line.
Well,
Like
it's
it's
like what you said. It's a free match. It's
yeah, like
like
it doesn't like yeah, if you lose, you're probably not ranked number one anymore. But if you win, you win. Like it's kind of like, but at the end of the day, there's no criteria for it. Like they can't hit you with it, at Big Tens or at Big 12s or at the national tournament.
I mean the
It's
only strategic thing you can get out of it is if you wrestle a Yowler or somebody, it's like okay, well now I have something that I can kind of make adjustments off of. But it's like
yeah,
the season's so long. It's like you guys are
yeah,
gonna wrestle a million times anyways, and you're gonna wrestle
yeah,
a bunch of guys. It's like you're gonna do that anyways.
yeah. I wish more like number one guys would be kind of in it, just because I think it draws more to like the event. But then at the same time, it's it is what it is. We're gonna go out, we're gonna wrestle, we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna go from there.
That's that laid back attitude that you've
It just
developed.
it just
It
is what it
really is,
is.
man.
It is what it is.
We got to find an anime convention and have the All Star match there next
That's what
San
year.
Diego, San Diego,
Let's go,
Comic Con.
Comic Con, bring it
There
Comic
you
down.
Con.
go.
New York's got it too.
You traveled a lot over the summer. You did a lot of camps.
Traveled a bunch, yeah.
You came out here to California a couple times. What's that like? What's that like on that camp circuit for you to be able to accept a camp, not accept a camp, not to overdo it?
I think this year is different because obviously like with wrestling, like I didn't want to add so many camps where I couldn't get my training in. But it was also like I went to California for like 2 weeks, but I was training with Cormier and I was training with like a shout out to my guy Emmanuel Rodriguez who just got signed into the UFC. Like I was training with him. I'm training with, you know, uh Chapolin who also just fought on Dana White's Contender Series. Like I'm training with some of the best fighters in the world. And so it's not like, hey, you're not doing it. You're just going to camps and having fun. Like even at the Fullerton camp, like I wrestled live the entire time.
Yeah, he
Like
did.
it's one of those things where it's like when I travel, I like continuously wrestle and like yeah, it's not, college guys that I'm wrestling with, but it's like it's still like a workout. I'm getting my cardio in, like I'm doing all that. I think kind of after this year, kind of maybe try to fill up a little bit more on camps because I'm not going to be worried about coming back for another year. Um, and obviously, like, I'll be getting to Philly, like, kind of after the season. My plans to move to Philly. Like, I want to be out there. I want to be with Ellie. I want to, I want to start our life together, as like living together finally. And I'd love to kind of hammer in some like more camps, just because I like to give back and I feel like it's something that like with this being like the last time I potentially ever wrestle competitively, like I want to give back like the knowledge that I have to kids that, look up to me or just like kids that want to get into wrestling. It's like, all right, well, like this is one of the best guys. here, like I'm gonna give you kind of the basics and I'm gonna let you like run with it. Um, but I hopefully plan to do a little more. However, like it falls if win another national title, it's awesome. Win a Hodge Trophy, awesome. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out like that, still like, you know, I want to be able to help kids. I want to help college guys. I want to help people get better at wrestling so that kind of as a whole, the sport can kind of take more of a face in everything.
Now you talked about after you're going to move to Philadelphia, which is awesome. You finally get to run
Yeah.
together with Allie and stuff. You've also talked a little bit about like coaching and possibly doing the MMA stuff. Like I know you want to
hmm
do all those things. Have you kind of looked around Philadelphia and like, all right, what's kind of the landscape like?
Yeah. So when I was out with Cruz had me come out to help him get ready for Worlds and just kind of being around that staff and kind of all of the Penn guys, like kind of getting to know everybody a little better. Penn's definitely an awesome spot. Like it was fun to be out there. Everybody was super nice. Haven't kind of been able to meet with anybody from Drexel to kind of figure anything out like that, but also got to talk with Burrows about maybe potentially, helping him at his club. So just kind of all options are kind of open. And just kind of got to see where it kind of goes into that laid back of like just got to see where it all falls. Like
Yeah.
I'm not obviously not like thinking about all of it right now, but I think, kind of towards like the end of the year, especially after nationals, be like, all right, I'm moving there. So let's kind of figure something out to kind of get everything rolling.
You're going to be a hot commodity, man. Like I think I think if you can find a coach that's like small enough and still can wrestle and still scrap, that's healthy. Like,
Yeah,
dude, like you want to make sure you get those guys on your
it's
staff.
huge.
They're a
Yeah,
game changer.
it's huge. Like Jeremy's 40 something and has a bum knee, but he wrestles all the time. Like I wrestle with Jeremy all the time, and it's huge to have like personally as an athlete having a coach that like actively wrestles with you and
Yeah.
like, hey, you're not doing this right. Instead of like being off to the side, they're like, hey, you should fix this. It's like, all right, well, why don't you come wrestle with me
Come show me.
and we can like spar through the position and like I can feel because I've always learned I got better at wrestling by just wrestling. So it was like if I was bad somewhere, it's like, all right, put me in the position. Like if I'm bad in a crackdown, just make me wrestle in a crackdown. Like I'm gonna figure it out. Gonna get better there if I'm in there all the time. But if a coach is just watching from the outside and they're like, oh, you're not good in a crackdown. They're like, all right, well, what do I need to do? And they're like, oh, you got to shelf the leg and stuff. And it's like, can you just wrestle me and show me,
Yeah.
like, so I can feel the position out?
Yeah.
And then having like somebody that's gonna be able to do that, which like I obviously am still gonna like probably not going to compete Olympics or anything like that, but obviously keep training like with coaching. Like I'm still going to want to wrestle with the guys all the time, like stuff like that, and kind of helping transition into that MMA world. Kind of it's going to be huge for me.
No, for sure. And I think I like what you said. It's like, and I that's kind of how I coach too. It's like I try to be as hands-on as possible because if,
Yeah,
if your head's not maybe on your finishes, your head's not in the right spot and I can't feel it, like I can tell you. But if
yeah,
I'm
you're like, hey,
watching, I can't like it kind of looks good, but I don't know if you're giving the right pressure or not.
yeah, exactly.
Cool, man. I think we're getting towards the end. I do have a couple questions. So one of my wrestlers, he's in my class.
Yep,
He's actually my TA. He's a senior, but he knew that you were gonna be on, and he's like, "Oh, he's my favorite wrestler." Like, I'm like, "Well, do you have any questions for him?" So one of them you kind of answered throughout the podcast, but I might just kind of put in a straightforward question.
yep,
What is your I guess mentality like kind of going into practice? Like you were talking about that mental switch.
yep,
And how do you kind of manage, I guess, the grind? I'm gonna do air quotes, the grind of the season,
yeah.
where you can be productive without kind of like letting it wear you down.
So rolling into like kind of the practice should always be about getting better. Like there's too many guys, especially like high school and like kind of getting into that college where like there's guys that like only worry about cutting weight and they're not worried about getting better at hitting wrestling moves. Like if you're only ever worried about cutting weight, you're never going to be a great wrestler because you're not going to like take the time to develop those like fundamental skills of, hey, my head needs to be, driving into them or like kind of those like small positions that matter the most in big matches and then like surviving kind of like the grind, like how you said, like quotations like the grind. Look at it's like it's a roller coaster, right? Like you're gonna have your ups, you're gonna have your downs, but at the end of the day, like there's gonna probably be a loop somewhere in there, and you just kind of have to be calm, collected, and like, hey, everything's gonna be fine. Like the grind, like at some point it's gonna end. One, like your season's gonna end at some point, and then enjoying kind of the roller coaster of everything. Like my like 7 years in college has been one huge roller coaster, and like my roller coaster is coming to an end. So it's like I've enjoyed every moment, every loss, every victory. Like you kind of enjoy everything, and you just like soak it all in, and just know that like they're like there's there's billions of people that wish to be in your shoes. Like they wish to have that feeling of being nervous before running out in a match. And there's people that are never going to be able to experience that. So kind of enjoying that like moment and learning to like soak it in and have fun with it would be like the best way to kind of get through like the grind of everything.
Yeah, it's like people pay to go on a roller coaster, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's that fear of like, all right, we're about to drop, but it's like at
Yep.
the end, it's like, all right, that was pretty fun.
This was great. Let's do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to marry like the bad stuff and the good stuff together. It's just life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I love
Um,
what you said there of let's go do it again. It's going to be a roller coaster. You're going to have those ups and downs. That loop's coming.
Yep.
Let's do it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so Toby had one more question. So he knows you like anime, and I know you have like some One Piece tattoos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He said if you could have any anime superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I feel like that one's people have asked you that before, right?
Yeah. Um, I would say it's definitely gonna be a One Piece devil fruit. I don't know
Okay.
which one. I would have to kind of like look more into the devil fruits of like which one, but definitely like a One Piece devil fruit. Having kind of superpowers like that would be pretty sick.
Yeah. What about you, Brian? What would be your anime superpower?
You're talking to a guy who's not an anime guy. I think the only anime that we could really talk, I got kids. K-pop Demon Hunters are just
K-pop Demon
flowing
Hunters
like
are
crazy right
huge
now.
right now.
But
They are, yeah.
I wouldn't mind being Aang and having some powers
Some
to
wind
do
power, yeah.
some wind, maybe some airbender powers, but no, I'm gonna stick to being an old dude and not worrying about superpowers myself, but just because I just don't know enough.
That's fine. You need to
And,
educate yourself, man.
well, then put yourself out on the map there, B. What's your superpower?
Yeah, what's your superpower?
Um, so I actually watched I used to watch Naruto when I was younger. And then I stopped watching it for a long time. And one of my buddies was watching it. And this was like in college, and now there's like thousands of episodes, and then Boruto's out there. I'm like, dude, I
Yeah.
don't know if I want to go back and watch thousands of hours of a show, but
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters I think of I think like across the board is Kakashi. And
Yeah.
I really like the fact that yeah, he's got the Sharingan, and there's the Sharingan's cool. But the coolest thing is like what's his superpower? He's the copycat ninja, man. Like he could see something once and then
And
be able
copy
to
it.
do it. And like,
Yeah.
dude, that's something that I struggle with. Like I wish I had that power where I could just watch Lucas Bird show a foot
A
sweep at a
wrestling
camp
move. Yeah.
and
And
then
you're
I
just
could hit it.
yeah.
That would be so nice.
You gotta
But
ask those kids from Hawaii about a foot sweep.
yeah, dude,
Their foot
that was
sweeps
so
were
nice.
It
their
was
foot sweeps were good.
that was one of the best part of camp this year, and
Yeah, their foot sweeps were off the charts.
and was your day the day that the tsunami hit Hawaii?
I don't think it was I like it was going on. I don't know that it had hit, but I know it was like because I had like asked the Hawaii coach like if everything like his family and everything was good there.
Yeah, for reference, those of you guys watching the pod, at wrestling camp in the summertime here in California, that's when that earthquake happened in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we had a huge group of Hawaii kids at camp. And when they came out and they started doing those little drills and the foot sweeps,
They let it
everybody
rip.
just was like, this is amazing.
They let it rip. Be honest, they let it rip. It was good.
They stole the show a little bit, man.
I'm
But
good with it. They
I
were
thought
good
it was
at
cool.
it.
I think you mentioned like, dude, I learned something because normally I think they did maybe the
Yeah.
front foot and you show the back foot.
Back foot, yeah. Yeah. I'm
A lot
hoping
of theirs, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go.
A lot of their judo background, they come
Yeah.
from that system where they be able to hop and
Yeah.
sweep. But and yours is totally different. And then they come out and they show it, and you're just like,
I was like, all right, that's gonna work better.
I'm gonna
I
like
that.
that.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can get out and do a camp with them in the summer.
They
Yeah,
were
that'll be cool.
extremely, extremely nice, and their head coach
Yeah,
is just a
they were
good
awesome.
dude. Good
Yeah.
dude.
All right, Lucas. Before we let you go, Brian, you got anything else for Lucas?
Just a appreciation, man. The kids who come into camp the day early, you just have such a great rapport with them. You get to talk to them on a personal level. And for you to have the status that you have, again, whether it's a TikTok situation or a national champ, just such down to earth. And I think that resonates to the kids at camp. I think that resonates to high school kids watching you on the mat. It's just super appreciative of how you go about your life, and being a national champ is one of the coolest things. My last question is, talking to Tierpelli, talking to Flores, it's a special, special thing to be a national champ at Illinois. And if you got maybe 2 or 3 sentences to talk about you getting put up on that wall, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, it's being put up on the wall is something that I was actually kind of talking about it maybe it was last week. So when you All-American in Illinois, you get a little picture. And it's like, I mean, it's like not little, but we'll just say it's something like this, right? And then when you win, you get your big picture. I'm the only person on the wall with a little picture and a big picture. So
That's cool.
kind of seeing the like from freshman year when I all American or like my red shirt freshman when I all American, it's like I have my little picture and it's got like my, all American 2021 or whatever year it was. And then now it's like you like see the little picture in the corner and now my big picture is like in the middle of the room and you kind of see that like it's cool to like, hey, like that kid had this dream. Like that freshman wanted this picture. And kind of to have that like transition of like, hey, I had my little picture, you see it, now it's like bang, my big picture's there. It's kind of cool it's like a full circle kind of moment. So I
Yeah,
mean
those high schoolers that come in, that are getting ready for the state tournament, because I think that's where warm-ups and stuff are, right? They're
yeah,
in the
yeah.
so they see your little picture and they see that big picture, and that just kind of adds to their dream a little bit.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like being on the wall is something that it's extremely kind of special. It's kind of one of those things where it's a pride thing where it's like, hey, like I went through my little picture and now I've got my big picture. Like it's you kind of see that jump in that elevation where it's like it's possible. It's really hard, but it's definitely something that's very doable and kind of being on that wall forever will be something that, I can come back, whenever and my picture's always going to be there.
Now go
That's
get your
awesome.
2-timer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah. Love
All
it.
right, Lucas, man. Really appreciate you coming on the show. Very thankful to get to have this conversation with you,
Yeah,
man.
I
And
appreciate you guys having
yeah,
me. This was awesome. Do you
enjoyed this
guys want to
here.
see my other cat? I've talked about my cats a lot.
Yeah. Well,
All
Absolutely.
is
right.
this because the one came in the
Yeah,
shot, so you're trying to make
I'm
sure the other
surprised the
one?
other one didn't come in here. Come here, buddy. Mm. So the one you guys saw was Nacho. This one's Cheese.
Oh yeah, he looks like cheese. What's up,
He's
cheese?
he's significantly bigger than Nachos, but he's a big
Oh my
foodie.
gosh.
What's his name? Nacho.
Cheese. Oh, this is
Cheese.
Cheese.
Cheese. And
Yeah.
then Nacho is the one that was sitting kind of on that corner right there.
That's where I'm going with it. You got Nacho and you got Cheese. Did you name your snake like jalapeno or something?
His name is Mel.
Mel.
I'll get him out too. I'll show you guys
Mel.
him. Yeah. We went to me and Ellie went to a pet store kind of in Champaign and I was like, "All right, we're not leaving with anything." And then it was like a couple days later, we walked out with him.
The
Dude,
suspense.
that's a big mistake. You go there, you go to the pet store with your girlfriend. Yeah, you're gonna get something.
Come home with a reptile instead
Yeah,
instead of just a little betta fish.
that's how I got my dogs.
Yeah,
My
that's
my ex-girlfriend, we went to go we looked at some dogs off of Craigslist, so we got 2 puppies out of it. We're just gonna
So
look.
this is Mel. He's an
albino.
albino black pastel. So like in the light sometimes he's got like a purple tint to like the back of his head kind of all the way down. But this is
That's
Mel.
awesome.
Yeah. So these are the pets I always talk about that hang out with me.
Well, when you're kind of alone by yourself and
You gotta have something.
seven
You gotta
years in
have something to
college,
hang out
you
with.
got to have your pets, and to have the 2 cats and a snake to boot. Um,
and then on top of it, she has 2 cats.
Oh, nice.
So when we move in together next year, or not next year, but in 6, 7 months, we'll have 4 cats and a snake.
Instant.
You're not doing the joke, are you? Are you doing
What?
the 6'7" reference?
I was just about to
You know
ask
what that
that.
is?
Oh no, I know what it is, but no.
You
'Cause
did that earlier, and I was
You're
like, I'm not
kind of
gonna react.
juggling. You're kind of
hold on,
juggling
what is
around.
it?
Because we're both in education, so I've been hearing that like nonstop.
Yeah.
Oh,
1,
and
2,
then
3,
some.
4, 5, 6. It's 6 months.
Okay.
March and like into April, so I guess the joke 6, 7, yes.
Yeah, in 6
Dang
months,
it.
you're going to be a family of 7.
Yeah.
Damn
Got
it, Brian.
all these animals.
Well, dude, I appreciate you guys coming on. We'll have to do this again sometime throughout the season if possible, or towards
Yeah,
the
let me know.
end
That'd be awesome.
when you win another national title.
That's
Have
the
a
game plan.
two-time, and we'll do it.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys for having me on. This was fun.
All right. Thanks, Lucas.
Yep,
Appreciate
let me
you.
know. Yep,
All
have a
right.
good one, guys. Later.
Thanks, man.
See ya. That was Lucas Byrd. Again, if you guys enjoyed that episode, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Spotify and all the major social media platforms. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.